Good day, how are you? My name is Mr. Brian Maregedze, an author, historian, and columnist. Today, I want to discuss with you a very important subject, very interesting to be precise, in that it has attracted a lot of debates in social discussions in general. But here in family and religious studies, it is also a topical issue. This topic is Indigenous religion and enterprise. Indigenous religion and enterprise. This is a very interesting topic. I say so because those who are rich, those who tend to be very economically stable, they tend to attract the tag of being someone who has a goblin, chikwambo, or someone who owns a chikwambo, or someone who has a particular snake or a particular secretive measure that he or she is involved to become rich. I'm not here to dispute all those issues, but to make it more interesting in that in family and religious studies for ordinary levels, it is very important to understand that what is regarded as enterprising, where we from the basic definition of enterprise, where one is initiative, a problem solver, creative again, someone who tries to come up with solutions in a way that the society benefits. Of course, there's also some individual benefit. In the modern sense, we understand enterprising in the context of business enterprises where there is financial benefit, but also there is also social enterprise where a particular initiative, a creative measure or a step, when undertaken, benefits the society. So traditionally it has to be understood that those who were regarded as rich were those people who may have ownership of cattle, ownership of a farm, a large piece of land. Yes, it's regarded as very rich. And of course, even ownership of other domestic animals, not only cattle, but also even sheep, goats. But besides that, even in today's society, it is also the same. People who own land, large pieces of land. In terms of property, maybe you may talk of also a house. Those people are still elevated in society as very rich. But the perceptions associated with the rich or the wealth is very controversial in such a way that in the past, or even currently, there are still debates about how did this person amass wealth? Did this person got involved in a particular ritual or not? If I'm to ask stories that one of you may have heard or many of you may have heard in Zimbabwe about ritual killings, you may observe that this practice of enterprise in indigenous religion is very controversial, and that there are those who feel that for them to be rich, for them to acquire wealth, they need perhaps to kill young children. It is very sad that young children have also become victim to this scenario where instead of hard work, instead of being enterprising in various schemes of work, people are now involved in actual ritual killings so that they attain wealth. These are some of the unorthodox ways that people are trying to become rich. But we have to understand that traditionally, besides ownership of cattle, there were also people who were good at farming, such that, yes, people would become legendary or would attain legendary names as good farmers. But what is interesting again is also perceptions that surround those people who are good at farming or those who are regarded as farmers. In spite of the fact that you can talk of good soils that people can utilize or maximize, there's also the belief in divisi, where someone is allegedly regarded as owning or having a particular juju or medicine that allows him to steal other people's crops or produce in such a way that at the end of the day, he or she becomes outstanding. So, yes, people who are regarded as hurudza, or these exceptional farmers, it's also surrounded with such connotations. And there were also people who were good at hunting. You would find that those who, unlike today's world where we find people having licenses or certificates for hunting or trophy hunting, killing animals from zoos or those that we find in zoos or national parks, with the guidance, of course, of authorities. Traditionally, people could hunt, but those who were popular for hunting, they also had a certain status. They also had certain privileges. And this is well captured in ancient or old style novels that we find, old fiction novels that we find in literature found in Zimbabwe, be it Shona, be it Ndebele. There's some literature that you may find interesting that captures these narratives of people who were very exceptional hunters, and they were also treated with respect, and also they gained some social status. We can talk of Kurawone, we can talk of Chekanyika. These are some of the novels that you can check in local bookshops, but I find them very interesting. I recommend these as they portray some kind of life that used to be found among the indigenous people. But beyond that, you may also think of iron smelters, people who were involved in Kupfura Simbi, iron smelting. And if you follow through oral history, oral traditions of the Njanja people, Vanjanja, they were very popular for iron smelting in such a way that they would trade, they would practice barter trade with other communities that lived within their proximity, and of course those that were distant from their communities. In this way, they were also able to become popular and of course accumulate wealth as a result of their abilities or their creative ability to use iron smelting as an entry point to enterprising. So, in actual fact, I've identified farming, agriculture was practiced in a way that, yes, even today, but there are various perceptions. There are debates now in society where you would find that those who attain wealth by farming, the question is this, are these people farmers in the sense of a farmer in the normal way? I would say normal in quotes, because what gives the society the various perceptions is also the fact that there is that which may be naturalized as this is normal farming, this is not normal, because even when there is no enough rain, these people always have bamba harvest. So yeah, I do not want to present a situation where I make it appear as if I'm dismissing that there is some elements associated with rituals, associated with the goblins, associated with some form of an ethical means to acquire wealth. The point is that they are good farmers, they are exceptional, excellent farmers out of hard work. But this belief that you can also be enterprising without actually working hard and become rich is also a common belief within the indigenous people in Zimbabwe, such that I would also even assign ordinary level students to also have discussions with their parents, especially during this lockdown, because you have enough time to ask some of these important questions about their belief systems on wealth creation, especially from an indigenous religion perspective. And I would also want to give questions, especially to those who are doing advanced level, where we can also have discussions. Examine the significance of wealth in indigenous religion. It's an important question that can be answered by advanced level learners. Then another question is assess the importance of cattle as a source of wealth in indigenous religion. Assess the importance of cattle as a source of wealth in indigenous religion. Discuss the concept of wealth creation in indigenous religion. So I think with these few questions, learners can be able to interrogate more on indigenous religion and enterprise. If you have questions, the comment section will be actually open so that I would record another video trying to explain these issues that I have raised. So you'd find that the idea of kuromba, the idea of kuromba coming from a situation where one has to approach a sangoma, a nganga, or a traditional healer. Of course, it's really controversial because it is where we find negative perceptions about traditional healers as people who give people or these muti or these kind of medicines that allow them to acquire wealth in unorthodox means or in unorthodox ways. And stories of Zvikwambo, accumulation of wealth through Zvikwambo, they are also prominent. So I would also want, to hear stories from different places in Zimbabwe on how you also take note of perceptions of wealth. Do we become rich by being creative, by hard work, or it is always to do with goblins, Zvikwambo, divisi when you're a farmer? It's a question which is open for discussion. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Brian Maregedze. Thank you.